Hello, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be introducing the Garcia Legendary Jakobs shotgun. This thing was recently buffed to have, I believe, more damage, and at least more projectiles. I can't remember the buff specifically, but either way, this thing was buffed. You can get it from Chunk Stomp in the Floodmoor Basin. It only drops from Chunk Stomp, you can't get it anywhere else, no wall drops or anything, so this is a very specific farm. Thankfully it's paired up with the Ruby's Wrath, which is a rocket launcher that also drops there, I believe, which is recently buffed, so that's pretty good. I was using it on Moze. A lot of fun. But anyway, this is the Garcia video, and I'm going to start off with Flak. This is going to be one of mine where I cover the weapon on all characters. So on Flak, where this weapon is at home, Flak is of course very good with the 25 pellet Jakobs stagecoach. Now, getting that 25 pellet stagecoach can be very difficult because, well, it's purple, and you can't really farm purples outside of, Circle of Slaughters. So, the Garcia is a great substitute. I wouldn't call it the best weapon in the game, and I don't think it's quite in the level of a 25 pellet stagecoach, but it's close. And it can get up to 16 pellets with a very high fire rate. So it kind of makes up for less pellets per shot, but with a much higher damage uptime with the fire rate. Quite a slow reload though, so do watch out for that. And of course, using that on Flak, using it with Megavore Fade Away, you can really chunk enemies. You'll blitz through mobs, you can chunk boss health bars, especially Valkyries and Wotan. It did quite well there, but otherwise I'd definitely describe this as a mobbing weapon rather than a bossing weapon. Whilst it can chunk a boss, there are other weapons that do just as well, if not better. I will say this weapon's effectiveness against Wotan was a limited case, and it didn't do quite as well as against Grave Ward, so definitely a mobbing weapon. Now, one thing about the Garcia is it's got a very high fire rate, but it's got a lot of recoil, and quite low accuracy, so you do have to keep that in mind. It's not got much range, it's quite hard to control, so you are better off pacing your shots, but I don't blame you if you let rip. This shotgun, one of the key highlights is how much fun it is. It's a really big dual drum mag shotgun, that is amazing. So yeah, the weapon on Flak, definitely one of his best choices. A great substitute if you do not have a stagecoach yet, but you still want to rock that Jakobs shotgun. Playstyle, very powerful. Moving on to Amara. Now, of course, Amara is very versatile. She can use almost any weapon. And, well, same goes to the Garcia. Now, thankfully, she has quite a few accuracy and handling bonuses, which works very well for the Garcia. It makes this weapon quite a bit easier to use with Amara. Now, you don't get as much out of Tempest, and of course Sustainment, but if you're rocking Ties That Bind and on-action skill and elements on your Grenade and Shield, those skills still aren't useless, they're still definitely worth picking up. This weapon is definitely a solid all-around weapon that will get you through content. Of course, I don't think it's among the best weapons in the game, but it's definitely above average, quite a bit above average, and so much fun. So that's the Garcia on Amara. Pretty damn solid, but you don't need it urgently. Now, moving on to Moze, and this weapon actually surprised me on Moze. I thought this would have the weakest showing on Moze, but I was wrong. This one's 16 pellet, next 2 mags, bonus fire damage, 125%. I'd say that's the best anoint to get for Moze. And I'm pretty much getting a short fuse proc every shot. I'm rocking short fuse, experimental munitions, and redistribution, that kind of split. Normal splash damage build, based around spamming grenades, use it with a Kib's Worth and whatnot. So I just used that normal build with the Garcia, and it worked really well. I was surprised at how much fun I had. Unfortunately, you are suffering with that huge amounts of recoil from the low handling, but otherwise it did pretty well. And it was a ton of fun to use to blast through the COV here. Unfortunately, being a non-elemental weapon and Moze being so focused towards fire damage, there's a limitation on how you can use it there. You're gonna have less consistent results against armor and shields, which is unfortunate, but that's just how Moze is built. But if you go all in on that fire damage against some flesh, you'll rip them apart. A lot of fun. Definitely a decent weapon for Moze. Not, one of the best in the game. I wouldn't say you need this, but if you're looking for a weapon for some good fun, Garcia's got you covered. Now, finally moving on to Zane. Now, I was expecting a little bit more, I'm gonna be honest. It's up to 16 pellets. I've seen as low as 12. I think the lowest it can get is 9. which is already still pretty good, even if you do get a 9 roll. I'm also curious, I've only seen 12 and 16. Does a 9 pellet roll consume 1 ammo per shot? That's a question for you. Or does it still consume 2? Because the main one consumes 2. Anyway, off topic, back to Zane. It's hitting a lot of pellets, which means we're getting a lot of brain freeze. It's able to proc brain freeze in up to 1 shot, even without an icebreaker. Very, very impressive. And it can sustain Seeing Dead. It can sustain your action skills with Seeing Dead by itself quite well. So that's 2 positives. However, the very, very high recoil I found made it hard to sustain damage against enemies when going for drive-bys with violent momentum. I just find it hard to land consistent headshots back to back whilst moving at maximum speed. Moving at maximum speed because just of how much it bounces around and the fire rate and the limited range. So that's the only issue I had with it as Zane. Of course, it was still hitting hard, especially if it had a nice, good momentum going into the shot, but otherwise, it wasn't. It definitely didn't feel as good to use as on the other 3 characters. Still, not the worst weapon in the game. So if you're looking for just a good, fun, chunky Jakobs shotgun, this is the one. It's so much fun. Huge mag, big fire rate, big damage, lots of recoil, lots of feedback. It's a lot of fun. A lot of these buffs, especially with the sickle, not the boom sickle, the normal sickle, especially, a lot of these buffs just make the weapon more fun. They might not be lob or Krakatoa here, but I don't think they need to be. As long as they're just fun to use, and the Garcia definitely is. And I think it didn't get much of the spotlight since it was, you can only get it from Chunk Stomp, you can't get it anywhere else. So it's not a weapon that you see a lot, unlike, say, Mark's Bane, which you see every other takedown run. But thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about the Garcia and how it compares to your, list of weapons for fun or effectiveness. I love the thing. It's earned a place in my inventory on my flak. It's a ton of fun. And yeah, with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.